Hey everyone, welcome back. Today is going to be a big one. Let's see, this is a video I've been trying to do for a long while. I just did not know what I can do for this. So, finally figured it out, and here we are. um, this is a full tier list of 4 of my favorite romance authors. I've just kept it to 4 so that the video doesn't run too long, and I have more authors still left to cover once I'm done with this one. Um, my favorite authors that I'm talking about here are Emily Henry, uh, Ashley Poston, Ali Hazelwood, and Beth O'Leary. So let's see which authors' books do I like the best. Before we dive in really quick, uh, these are just my opinions. I do not wish to upset anybody with my opinions. um, you don't have to agree with this. I am open to discussion, I'm open to debate, whatever suits you guys. But again, these are my opinions, and I hope everybody understands I do not wish to upset anybody with this. Okay, let's dive in. The tears are Stare at the Wall After Finishing. These broke my brain in the best way. I was completely useless for like a couple of days before I could start anything else. Next is Thought About It for Days. Loved them. They were in my mind rent free for a long, long time. They still are. All of these are, mostly. Um, the third tier is Finished and Moved On. Genuinely good. I enjoyed them, but I just didn't go down a spiral about them or even long rants about them until now. Fourth is Forgot I Read This. It was fine. It was okay. But if you ask me what the plot is, I would not be able to tell you right now. The last one is TBR because there are a few books by most of the authors that I still haven't read or picked up yet. So here's that. I wish I could show you all of the books, but the only books I have out with me right now are these because I got them after I had moved back here. So a lot of my books are still packed, but my feelings are very much unpacked over here. Let's get on with this. Let's just start with this. We'll be starting with Emily Henry. There are 7 books or 6 books that I have that she has written. Um, I'm starting with Emily Henry because I think that is where a lot of people might have started their bookish journey from. Emily Henry, you discover Emily Henry first, then you discover Ellie Hazelwood, or the other way around. I discovered Emily Henry first, so I'm going to start with her. The first book up is Beach Read. Beach Read was a fun read for me. I wouldn't say it was her best work that I have read, but I really didn't enjoy it. I think it could have been a little better, the banter could have been better, but two writers tied up at a beach next to each other, fun. So, since I did not think much about it after finishing it, I'm going to put it at finished and moved on because this is probably not a book I would want to read again as much as I enjoyed it, but this was just like a one time read. The next one is People We Meet on Vacation. This was my first Emily Henry book because I hadn't read any of the Emily Henry books until my friend gifted this one to me. She had annotated it for me, and I have to still annotate a book and send it to her. I'm done with the book like 80%, there's only 20% left, so I hope I can finish it this time. Anyway, coming back to our main topic, People We Meet on Vacation was an amazing read. A lot of it has to do with the annotated copy that I got. I don't know if I would have enjoyed it as much as I did if my friend had not annotated it for me. So here's to her. I did watch the movie as well, my the friend is going to kill me because she has not watched the movie, and d- she probably will not watch the movie. But I like the movie as much as I like the book. So for this, I'm going to put it at Stare at the Wall after finishing, because Emily Henry, the writer she is, plus my friend just made it so much better with her annotations. The next book up is Book Lovers. Here's an unpopular opinion. I did not enjoy Book Lovers at all. There was just something lacking in it. I did not like the main characters. I did not enjoy. I think the plot could have been much better than it was. So, this one probably is not going to be ever on my recommendations list for a Emily Henry book. So, for book lovers, I'm going to put the in forgot I read this, because again I did not enjoy it at all. Next up is Happy Place. This is one of my favorite books ever. Happy Place just took me to a happy place. I am not talking about the romance over here. Although I think it could have been better. Um, I feel like the breakup part of it was justifiable, but I not my favorite Emily Henry romance that's coming up after this. So, sorry. So Happy Place, as much as I enjoyed it, just because of the romance, I would not put it at Stare at the Wall after finishing. I would put it at Thought About It for days, because I absolutely loved the friendship over here. I have a lot of quotes that I could relate to, and if you know me, you know my friendships are very precious to me. This was just like an ode to that. The next one is Funny Story. This has been by far my favorite Emily Henry romance trope. I The characters are just so amazing. I do not have words to explain how much I loved it. I just know I gobbled this book up. Also, like I mentioned in my previous video, I'm learning the German language. This is the one book I have taken that I would want to read in German as well. So, there you have it. This is probably my favorite Emily Henry book. But we still have one more left, so let's see. I am going to put this at Stare at the Wall after finishing. Next up is Great Big Beautiful Life, her latest novel, which reminded me of another novel, but this was better in the sense that it did not have like a tragic revelation about your dead parent, which I did not enjoy in the previous in the other novel. So there was still a connection, and I think again the romance part could have been much better, but this book just showed me how Emily Henry can write more than just a romance, even though her other books also have had that. But this one was just amazing. So this one I'm going to put it Stare at the Wall after finishing as well. That is the end of Emily Henry. I don't have any books pending by her unless like there's one coming out this year or something. I hope it does, but let's see. Next up we have Ashley Poston. For Ashley Poston, I have taken up The Dead Romantics, The 7 Year Slip, A Novel Love Story, Sounds Like Music, With Any Luck, and The Someday Garden. So first up is The 7 Year Slip, which is my favorite. Well, the first spot for Ashley Poston is a tie so far between two books. That is The 7 Year Slip and another book that I'm going to be talking about after this. The 7 Year Slip is such a cozy read, and I love myself big towns with big stories that are interconnected like this. It is so fun for me to realize that even in big cities and big towns where nobody essentially knows each other, the population is too much to know each other, you still somehow end up colliding with the people you're supposed to meet with. And that is what 7 Year Slip was about with me. Absolutely loved it. I loved everything about this book, and I would low-key want to try all of the recipes that are mentioned in this. So this obviously goes at stared at the wall after finishing. The 7 Year Slip was my first Ashley Poston book, and that is essentially what made me pick up the other novels as well. So all the credit goes to this particular book. Next up is With Any Luck, which is a TBR book for me, but it's a short novella on Amazon Prime reading, and I would probably want to get back into my physical reading habits with this, because so far whatever I've read by Ashley Poston has been above and beyond. Next up is Sounds Like Love, which was her latest novel before The Someday Garden. Someday Garden is not out yet, so I guess this is the latest published novel. Sounds Like Love was great. I think the main love interest could have been much better. I did not enjoy his character much, but other than that, the story was amazing, and I can see this as being one of the 2000s, early 2000s rom-coms that Hollywood had. So this is something that I would put on finished and moved on. Next up is The Dead Romantics. I have read this twice because I completely forgot that I had read it the first time, and then I was reading it the second time, I kept having this deja vu that I have already read this, but then I did predict the ending, so I'm going to put this. I thought about it for days. Next up is my another favorite novel by her. That is a novella story. This is At a Tie with the 7 Year Slip for the first spot. Imagine loving somebody so much, or being loved so much, that once you... This might be spoiling the book, but please, it's about time you've read the book. Yeah, imagine being loved so much that once you pass away, once you die, your husband goes in such a big shock that, he voluntarily retires to the town that was created with your passing. I had a weird connection with this book. I cannot explain it, and I would not want to explain it. It's just something really personal to me. But I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved that you sometimes need help with moving on, and you never know in what way or form that help is going to come in. So a novel of story is also at stared at the wall after finishing. Next up is The Someday Garden, which is not out yet, so it's on my TBR. Then comes Beth O'Leary. Beth O'Leary has so many of my favorite books, so many. We have The No-Show, The Flat Share, The Road Trip, The Name Game, The Wake Up Call, The Switch, and Swept Away by her. The first book that I read by Beth O'Leary was The Flat Share, which was recommended to me by one of my best friends, and I am so glad. Every time I pick up a Beth O'Leary book, I'm so glad that I picked up The Flat Share, and I absolutely loved it. The Flat Share is the first book I would recommend by Beth O'Leary. That is a great place to start. You can also start with The Switch. The Switch is also like a really cozy, small town, big city, lives interchanging romance, kind of. But The Flat Share has a special place in my heart. All of the post-it notes through which they communicate. And I am so happy that the Flat Shares adaptation is amazing as well, and so is the Road Trips. I think I kind of like the Road Trips adaptation a little better than the book, but we'll get to that later. The flat share for me would be stare at the wall after finishing, and right beside it would be the no show, because I have spent the entire book hating on the guy, and towards the end, I just did not know what to do with myself. This is not a feeling I can explain. You just have to go read the book and then you'll understand what I mean by that. So, the last few chapters just hit me like a truck. The no show is also stare at the wall after finishing. Next up is the road trip, which, as much as I liked it, the grief, the companionship, the friendships, the forgiveness, the one sidedness of a relationship, I just felt there was something missing. It could have been better. The misunderstanding was the worst sort of a misunderstanding anybody could have. And I completely understand why she just did not want to talk about it with anybody, because how do you talk about that with somebody after you've been accused of what happened? Like the opposite of what happened. You cannot. So, this is also a sign to not meddle too much in your best friend's relationship. So the road trip would be thought about it for days, because I did think about it for days. Even after the show, I thought about it for a long, long time. The next step is the wake up call, which did not hit. That is the only Beth O'Leary book that has not hit for me, and I absolutely did not enjoy it. And just for that reason, no, not just for that reason, that is a pretty big reason. It did not make sense. The plot did not make sense to me, like, at all. So I'm going to put it at forgot I read this. I did not forget I read it, but I wish I could. Next up is the Switch. I love myself a granddaughter and grandmother relationship story. I was really close. That is also why I really like the 7 years slip. I was really close to my grandmother, and it is just fun reading about a relationship between a granddaughter and a grandmother, because it's I if you have a good relationship with a grandmother, you know what I'm talking about. But it was such a sweet, such a pure one. Like, I wish I could have done something like this with my own grandmother, but here we are. So the Switch, small town, big city. The granddaughter and the grandmother, basically they switch their lives because both of them are sort of burnt out in their own places. So the grandmother's like, hey, why don't you come up to my small town, stay over here for a bit, I'll move to your apartment, take care of your place and everything. And both of them form one amazing, amazing community of their own in their respective switches, which is amazing. Plus, I just think it made the relationship between the two strong as well. So the Switch for me is going to go at stare at the wall after finishing. Next up is Swept Away, which is on my TBR. I have the book, I just haven't been able to get to it. So Swept Away and The Name Game are both on my TBR. Which leaves us with Ali Hazelwood. Okay, next up is Ali Hazelwood, and she has a lot of books. First up is The Love Hypothesis, the place to start with Ali Hazelwood. I have devoured this book in one single night. Not even a night, I guess a couple of hours. It was pure adrenaline. I'm telling you. She writes, she has something in her books that just gives you fan fiction vibes, and it is rumored that Love Hypothesis was a fan fiction, and I am a sucker for fan fictions. So the Love Hypothesis, only because I finished it in a couple of hours, is going to go at stared up at the wall after finishing. Then comes Bride. I enjoyed Bride only because I've read a lot of Omegaverse fan fiction. That is the only reason I could digest this book, because it felt like something I've already read. Okay, it's not just Omegaverse fan fictions, it's also Twilight that um, helped me digest the book. So, Ali Hazelwood's Pride goes on. Thought about it for days because it is surprisingly well written. I did not expect this from her. Bride's second part, Mate, goes on the TBR because I have yet to pick it up. Then comes Love on the Brain and Love Theoretically. I'm going to just put it at finished and moved on, both of these, because actually, even Loath to Love You, these three books I think merge into one another and eventually into the Love Hypothesis. They hardly have any differences between them, and that's just not it for me. I have read Two Can Play and The Deep End. I think, yeah, I've read both of them, finished and moved on. I enjoyed them, but it did not. They were not books that would, stay with you. If somebody asked me for an Ali Hazelwood recommendation, it would not be either of these five books. It would probably be The Love Hypothesis or Check and Mate, because I absolutely loved Check and Mate. That is the book that finally made me want to learn chess. So Check and Mate is goes along with The Love Hypothesis at Stare at the Wall after finishing. Next up is Not in Love, which I would put under TBR, like at a tier that is even below TBR, because I did not enjoy it at all. I DNF'd the book. This book could not have existed, and Ali Hazelwood would be doing absolutely fine. Just a weird book. I have no words for it. Next up is Cruel Winter, which is on my TBR, and so is the Problematic Summer Romance. I have I have the Problematic Summer Romance with me over here, and I'm going to start with this as soon as I'm done with my current read, which has been my current read since January, but I am going to sit and finish this today. There has been an improvement in the number of pages I've read. This was like half in the previous video. So I hope I can sit and finish this today or tomorrow, depends on how much time I get. That brings my tier list to an end, and the clear winner is, actually, it's a tie. There are 3 books by Emily Henry and 3 books by Beth O'Leary on there, and 2 each of Ashley Poston and Ali Hazelwood. And there is 1 book each in Thought About It for Days from all 4 of them. I would still put Ali Hazelwood at number 4. I enjoy her books. She is one of my favorite authors. I would read anything by her, but will I remember everything I read by her? No, sir. Unless it's something like The Love Hypothesis or Check and Mate. Next, I would put Emily Henry, only because People We Meet on Vacation is Stare at the Wall after finishing. Because of my friend's annotations, otherwise it would be at Thought About It for Days. So that brings Emily Henry to the second position, because that would mean there are 2 books by Emily Henry in the second tier. Third is Ashley Poston, because I haven't read 2 books by her, and I have a feeling I might enjoy The Someday Garden a little more than I enjoyed Sounds Like Love. So second is Ashley Poston, and the first for me is going to be Beth O'Leary, because there was no confusion between any of her books. The only book I haven't enjoyed by her is The Wake Up Call, and there is nothing else. Like 3 out of 4, 5, 7 of her books are in the first year, so I think that's a pretty good number. I have a feeling I might enjoy The Name Game, a lot, and swept away might be in thought about it for days. So that brings this video to an end. Let's see. Let me know what you want to see in the next video, and I'll see you in the next one. Uh, Hopefully, by the next video, I would have finished my current read, that is half his age, and I would have moved on to problematic summer romance, so I can give you an update. I have high hopes from this because two of my best friends love it, absolutely raved about it, and that is why it's next on my TBR. And I'm also currently listening to the Shadowhunter Chronicles. I am done with the part 1 of it. That was the model instruments. I'm so glad that that is over because Clary, I cannot with Clary. She just tires me so much. Next up in the Shadowhunter series is, I think, the Infernal Devices. So that is what I'm listening to right now. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.